Greetings, fellow humans. I'm MartianBuu, and today I'm going to go over the upcoming revert candidates. So everything from Year of the Wolf is going to rotate. So this is a list of all the things that were released in that year that have been nerfed. Frequently when things go to wild, they get reverted because they were nerfed for standard and they're not actually problems in wild. I am just going to take it on faith that this is all the cards because I didn't actually make it myself this year. Usually I make the tier list myself, but other people have started doing this too a lot, so I just had to take one of their lists. They always start earlier than I would, because I would usually do this before the mini set, but everyone's already doing it and I don't have to put the list together, so good for me. Anyways, I've reduced the amount of tiers. This had 5 tiers when I pulled it up, but the idea here is the top tier is like, you can just do this nerf revert and it's not going to matter to wild one way or another, right? Like, it's just kind of a modest card. There's no risk to unnerfing it. There has no potential to shake anything up. So that's the top tier. The second tier is stuff that will have an impact, but I think it's worth doing because I think the positive will outweigh the negative. So things that I would like to be nerfed, or things that I would like to have their nerfs reverted. And then the third one, the stop it tier, is like, come on, don't unnerf that. All right, so we'll begin. And first up, we have several iterations of Reno because it was nerfed many ways. And it seems to be 10 mana old effect, 8 mana current text, 8 mana. I can't even read this. I guess there's a lot more iterations you could do with this, and it looks like there is. So full revert, 10 mana. Maybe I'll skip one of some of these iterations. So 10 mana old effect. No, the effect with this is the issue I take. Like, I think the original effect on Reno, where it would like remove dormant things and skip your opponent's turn, basically, I think that doesn't offer anything positive for Hearthstone. So I would definitely not put the effect back. So here we have full revert, which is old effect and removes the Highlander restriction, right? So if you fully revert it, then it goes back to, you can shuffle something into your opponent's deck and it turns off the Highlander. So I'm definitely gonna put that in the same tier because that comes with it the baggage that you can remove your opponent's dormant stuff and skip their turn. But even without that, I feel like my opinion is that if you're gonna have Highlander cards, you shouldn't just be able to shuffle something into your opponent's deck and make those cards be useless. I think that the cards are more fun if your opponent can't just run garbage and turn your deck off. So I don't think that anything positive is gained by the Highlander cards being able to be turned off by things like the Darkness or Albatross or whatever. But there is negative, right? Because that's why Zeph is obnoxious, because you can run Zeph in decks that just draw their whole deck really fast and get to play Zephyrus without the negative of having to do singleton. So I think that it's largely been a positive for Hearthstone that these Highlander cards have been given the starting deck restriction instead of the current deck restriction. So I would rather the old ones be changed to be more like this in that regard. And then so that was 10 mana old effect, and then fully reverting it. And then we have 8 mana current effect. Where is that? Is that this one? So I feel like this is fine. Like, not no impact, but worth it. Like, it's fine from a power standpoint. What I don't like about the idea of reverting Reno is I feel like it makes all Highlander decks feel homogenous. Not from a gameplay standpoint, because they're already kind of like that, but just from a visual cosmetic immersion standpoint, whenever you're up against a Highlander deck, you're looking at this guy's stupid face. And that's like, different classes should have different feels to them. And I feel like bad effect on the 10 mana version of the card has reduced the amount of times I have to look at this guy's face. And that has been a better immersion feel, in my opinion. So I just, like, overall, I don't like the card. I think that there's very little to like about this card. But, you know, I'm not the only player. So I think if I was, you know, if it were up to me, this would get its mana cost reduced now that its effect isn't as gross as it used to be. I'm not going to bother with these other Renos because they're kind of like 9 mana old effect, 9 mana current effect. Like, they don't matter. I'm not going to put them up. So then Thogran, this card has actually been nerfed twice. I only see it here once. No, it's only been nerfed. It hasn't had its mana reverted, huh? I kind of want to put that in stop it. I like the way it works now better. Maybe I don't. No, it is more interesting if it shuffles its stuff into your own deck, right? Because then you can draw it with things. But also, like, you can't run it in Highlander as easily. Maybe I do want this in stop it. But like, I don't, like, do we need another tier for things that I think are just like, I think this card is more fun as it is. I mean, it's a safe revert, so I'll put it there, but I wouldn't do it because I think it's more fun as it is right now. How about that? Then Celestial, whatever. I think it's worth it. This card would be good, right? Like, it actually got ran in Shadow Priest for a little bit. So like, I think it would see play at 2, but I don't think it's going to make anything. If anything, I think it's going to make those Shadow Priest builds feel a little bit more clunky. So like, the experience of playing against it could be a little better because your opponent could draw Celestial Projectionist when there isn't something good to bounce. So yeah, Crash of Thunder is probably worth it. Crescendo, certainly worth it. This is like no impact. Bran, worth it. I don't know. I like Bran. Like, this is a card that would see play, but like, 8 cost Bran is so bad in Wild, and I don't think it's gonna like crush anybody's dreams to play against Deep Miner Bran in Wild. I think that's fine. Jimkin, easy. Flash, I think no. I think Flash is kind of broken, so we don't want to revert that one. Like, when Questline Shaman is a common opponent, Wild isn't fun, so I don't think we need to make that better. That's in my opinion. Forge of Wills, the reason I would not want this is the same reason that I wouldn't want Thagran. And now that I have 2, should I shift them? We can, what did I just do? I moved this on accident. But yeah, let's add another tier. I didn't realize, you know, more fun as is now. As it is now? It's more fun as it is now. So I'll put both of these in that category. Like, it's not like they're powerful, right? I just think it's lame. Like, I think that it right now Forge can be run in even, and if you make it 3, you can't run it in even. That's what it comes down to. So I think it's fine. So let me put fine, but that's just my opinion. I don't know. How about that? Sure. Well, that now I have a spot for Reno too. That reflects my opinion better. So then Funnel Cake, no, gross. I think this is worth the risk. And this is like a very playable card currently, so I think probably just don't. That doesn't need to be better. This is easy. I'm not sure Molten Giant is rotating, so I'm not going to assess it, but I would put it in worth it. Reska is worth it. Like, this was even DK's big thing, right? Most recently, and it lost it when it went to 25. You can't even run it anymore. So it didn't even matter that its mana cost was more. It matters that even can't run it. So I think that's nice for that. Saddle up, that'll be, nobody will see, like, if you unnerf saddle up, it's not like it's going to see play in wild. So yeah. Showdown, Paladin's really strong right now. I want to put it in worth it. The only reason I wouldn't is because Paladin is pretty dominant in wild at the moment, and Showdown is a really good card. So if that becomes better, then Paladin becomes better. But I think it enables, like, it enables even Paladin and like slow Paladins more than it enables like Libram Paladin, which is the one that's getting played a lot. It would help for Holy Wrath a lot. So it's risky. I'll give it that much. It's a risky decision, but I think it's worth it. Then we have Sickly Grimewalker, which can't be played in even if it gets reverted, but it also isn't good in even, right? So I think it's better to give that to some kind of other deck that would try to play it with the gnomes. Snake Oil, easy change. Like, I feel like that should have been reverted already. I don't understand why that ever got changed. Thirsty Drifter, probably worth it. I definitely like Trial by Fire. I think I'll put Trial by not in no impact. It's just worth it. Same thing with Aftershocks. Spoiler alert, I'm gonna unnerf everything involved with Even Warrior. I think Even Warrior, it's like, it's so sad that it was so cool for a moment and then it just got gutted. Awakened Tremors, yeah, for sure. I actually forgot that got nerfed. It was pretty decent still after, right? Like 3/3/1s is still pretty good. 4/1s is kind of like surprising that it was ever released that way, but I think it's totally wild fine. Deputization Aura I miss. I really liked Deputization Aura when that first came out. That was a Sag. I'm gonna put this in no impact. Nobody's gonna play this just to give something Wind Fury and wild. And like, they're not gonna run the Excavate packages for Paladin or Shaman either, especially not Shaman. It's kind of crazy that the Azurite Murloc never got undone or never got remade. You hope Deputization Aura stays nerfed. I think that's a perfectly valid opinion, frankly. Like, it was pretty busted. I don't know what, like, it'd be nice if we could split the difference, right? But yeah, you know what? This is going to be good, not in the way that that's going to be good, not in the way that I want it to be, right? Like, I want to play Uther OTK stuff with that, right? I want to play slow, wild win cons, but all this is going to do is make Libram Paladin unkillable. That's a good point. I'll put that and stop it. Yeah, there's no impact. Nobody cares about that card. Same thing with this. Odin, totally worth it. I miss Even not Even DK, Even Warrior. I miss Even Warrior. Brutal when they took it from us. But yeah, give it back. Pendant can't exist while Ceaseless Expanse exists, so that's unfortunate. If Ceaseless Expanse wasn't around, I would put this in worth it, but because it is, I can't. You know, like 3 for gain 100 armor. Finley, do it again. No. This is gonna have no impact. Like, the whole sludge thing, nobody's gonna play that in wild. Velarok. No. I is it worth it? Like, yeah, right. It's currently its only thing. We don't have the nulls anymore. The nulls suck. Do you think this thing being unnerfed would be enough to make the nulls playable again? Probably not, right? Velarok can't be a 3/6. I don't know that I agree with that. I'm into it. I think, like, it's, you know, if I was going to differentiate between what I think is pretty safe versus what I think is kind of risky, I would definitely put it in the risky category, but I'm going for it. I'm into it. All right, then we have this other sludge. This card got nerfed? What did this get changed to? The 4 mana 7/7 got nerfed? What was the nerf on it? What does that look like now? What's that called? Waste Remover? It's a 5/7. It was a 7. Oh man. Oh, that's hilarious. It seems like such an innocuous card to just gut, right? Yeah, of course unnerf that. It was shocking that that got nerfed in the first place. Hilarious. Then we have Splish Splash Whelp. Yeah, like Dragon Druid isn't played, right? We can unnerf that. Boogie Down. I think this is a good card. I think that there's possibility it would have some impact, but like not enough to not unnerf it. Like not enough to not have it be like a safe unnerf. Splish is on here twice. Oh, because it was nerfed, its stats were nerfed first. You can't tell which is which. Oh yeah, this is one attack Whelp, this is OG Whelp. I'm gonna put them in the same thing. All right. Whoever set this up put it in the titles. It was very helpful of them. Nest Matron's fine. Prismatic Beam. Oh, it was only nerfed once by its mana and its face damage, right? I'd risk it. Can I unnerf that one? The Showdown is better in even if we don't. I think there's so like even DK or even Paladin. I'm like defaulting to even DK whenever I talk about even. But like even Paladin needs Showdown and Prismatic Beam for either of them to be exciting, right? So like if we bring Prismatic Beam down to 8, I would put it in Worth It otherwise, but I mean it's already a pretty decent card as it is now, and unnerfing it mostly takes it away from even while increasing its face damage, which is not what we want. So there's that. Then we have Shattered Reflections, which doesn't add another one to hand right now and can't target Titans. That's the change, right? So we would get another one in hand and it could target a Titan. Do we want ANR spam? I kind of do, but like, is that going to make the Isiel decks better? Probably, right? Probably a little bit. I don't know. I'll put it in Stop It. It's probably risky. Right, so the next step we have Staff of the Nine Frogs. Like, I don't know. Reno Shaman hasn't been a thing in a minute, right? Like, we can play Staff of the Nine Frogs. At first I was like, what are you guys doing nerfing the frog staff? But then it ended up being like, you know, really, really strong still for a while. But I haven't seen a Reno Shaman in ages. And like, who cares if someone plays the froggy thing against me? Like, Wild has gotten really fast again. So I think it's probably worth changing. I don't know. But I'm like, I could have said this in the beginning. I'm a very err on the side of unnerfing it type of character. Like, I think when something's kind of wishy-washy, I'd rather go for it. I'd rather, you know, play for fun, and then if it's really a problem, they can always nerf it again. But always a bigger Jermonger is probably worth it. I don't like, it's almost no impact, but yeah, this is probably worth it. It costs 3, right? It's the thing that transforms into another damaged minion. It's probably fine. This is worth it. This has been nerfed twice. Do we have to? Wasn't it nerfed twice? No. People just wanted it nerfed twice. Is that what it was? No, it was nerfed twice. Wasn't it nerfed first to 3 health and then by its mana cost? We only have 1 on here. But yeah, I think it's like just unnerfing it all would be fine. Nerfing this, no impact. This would be worth it, I think. It costs 5 right now, even DK doesn't have it, and it was a card that was good and played, and then it became a card that wasn't played at all. So I would like to have that back. Azurite Snake. I think no, right? No, in Wild it's fine. It didn't really take off in Wild. I think it's fine. Then we have, oh, this was the this got nerfed so fast. It's currently 3 refresh 3, or is it 3 refresh 4? But it used to be 2 refresh. Oh, it's 3 refresh 4. If you cast 5 or more spells this game, refresh 4 mana crystals. So it's like, you know, at a certain point, it becomes functionally innervate, like original innervate. Is this, I don't know, is this worth it? I feel like this is fine, right? Lasher, like a lot of decks that would want to play Lasher are reducing their minions so that they can consistently find them with Pendant, right? So I think that that's fine. I also think this is fine. Oh, I forgot this was a card. Remember when Prison Breaker was a card? Let's go. This is a cool card. So they changed it to not damage face anymore, right? That's what they did. They changed its mana cost too, or did they just... Oh, they changed it to deal 2 damage. Yeah. They went with the kill the card nerf. Yogg reworked. OG Yogg. Okay, so yeah, this is fine. Like sending Yogg back to 9 mana doesn't matter. And this is the ultimate stop it on the list so far. Like original Yogg was disgusting for Wild. It like, I think Wild has never been less fun for me than when this card was available. It was not. This card's no impact. This card, do it. We're fully unnerfing the even warrior. That's my opinion. Tony is my secondary stop it. Full revert Tony, new text 5 mana Tony. Nah, we let's never have that see play again. Then we have OG Sanitize and Sanitize 5, except they both show up here as 5 mana. So this one is 4 mana. We can play it in even. Hooray! And then the 5 mana one we'll put in fine, but more fun as it is now, because if it goes to 5 mana, even can't run it. Then this is the Sargeras one. That's worth it. Like Reno Lock was a real deck in Wild while you could Symphony into Sargeras, and I thought that was really fun. So I would put that in worth it. This one, so if we can get Secret Hunter going, I think that's fine. I don't know about the, like, Costume Singer is already good, right? As a 1/1, it just needs a deck to go with it. We don't need to make that a 2/1, I don't think. But I also kind of think it's fine, right? Like, if I had split tiers for worth it, where like one is the risky side, I would put that out of stop it and into that. This is for even Paladin. That would be fine, I think. I actually don't. Lab Constructor is the one that, like, at the end of your turn, summon a copy of this, forged and gain magnetic. Yeah, that's not gonna matter in Wild. Pozic, oh my goodness, chat. I always hated that Pozic nerf. Like, I even think it's a boring card, right? Like, Pozic is a pretty boring card. I've never been excited to play Pozic, but like a neutral card being solid on curve, and it, like, they nerf it just because of that. Like, why build solid neutrals if you're just gonna nerf them just because they're solid? I don't know. That's just like that's like a balanced philosophy frustration for me. It ended up being a fine card still, just not as ubiquitous. I don't know. Its play rate dropped a lot. I don't know. But anyways, Rowdy Fan, that's not even gonna get played, right? Like, I think that's fine. And then Hollow Hound, definitely worth it. Love to have that back. But yeah, that's the year of the Wolf reverts that whoever put this tier list together remembered to put on. So if I forgot one, it's because I forgot one. We'll just do a last double check. I'm excited for Gaslight Gatekeeper at 3. Like, I really liked it at 3. I was sad when they nerfed it, and like, it got nerfed presumably because of its combination with the packs, right? Like, it got preemptively nerfed because the Wild Pack, Twist Pack, and Standard Pack were about to come out, and the combination of them was basically 4 mana, draw 5. And I think that sounds cool to me now. Like, let's do it. if that's good and wild, great. So I'd be really excited for a Gaslight Gatekeeper unnerf. I feel like worth it is too strong a word for Azurite Snake, right? Like, I kind of want to put, like, it's easy, no impact, right? Who's going to play this? Nobody. And if someone does, fine, right? Right? I don't know. So yeah, that's my full revert tier list. We'll see how much of this gets unnerfed. I think they're going to err on the side of, if this could potentially be a strong win condition, then it's not going to get unnerfed. So I wouldn't really expect, like, I'm putting myself in a bit, because Denathrius and Jailer didn't get unnerfed last year, even though I very much think they should have and should still. So, like, I don't know about Odin. You know, like, Odin is a stronger card as a win con than those are. It's not neutral, but like, it's gonna have way more impact at 8 than either of those two would at their, like, with a revert. So if they don't want to revert anything that ends the game, then I don't have a lot of hope for Odin, but fingers crossed. The other thing is, like, I'm in a position where I'm a little bit more worried than I am hopeful, because if none of this stuff gets reverted, it's not the end of the day for me, right? Like, I'm a little bummed out about the Even Warrior stuff. I'd be a little bummed out about Symphony. I'd be a little bummed out about Hollow Hound. But, like, I don't really love most of this. Like, if I don't see most of it ever again, it's mostly fine. What I'm worried about more than anything is that Reno will get a revert to its text. That's, like, I would rather not get any of this back than see Reno's text come back. So I'm more worried than hopeful, I guess. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and thank you so much for watching.